Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video here on the Auto Wisdom YouTube channel. Today I have the pleasure of sitting behind the wheel of a 2016 BMW G12 chassis 740i. Now this particular 740i is finished off in a lovely shade of Magellan Gray Metallic over a black Dakota leather with Napa black leather as well on both the dashboard and the door cards. The BMW G12 740i represents an excellent bargain in the world of used luxury long wheelbase sedans due to the fact that it has depreciated quite a bit since new. This particular example is a 2016. It is the long wheelbase as noted by the 740i moniker. In the United States, these cars were all featured with the extended wheelbase, whereas in Europe they could be optioned out with a standard wheelbase or the LI, which extended the vehicle's proportions. And this car also featured an MSRP of around $92,000 when new. And in this review, I want to explain to you guys some of the amazing technology and engineering that was implemented into this car for the sake of prioritizing driver comfort and overall driver well-being. The G12 740i is powered by a 3-liter straight-six engine, codenamed the B58, which is widely used in a number of BMWs and the Toyota Supra nowadays. It has been well known and regarded for its high power production and, in addition to that, stellar reliability, which is no exception in the case of this vehicle as well. Now that engine is mated up to an 8-speed automatic transmission. It's a torque converted unit known as the ZF8 HP. It's an excellent gearbox from both a reliability and performance perspective. And what makes this combination so stellar for a vehicle such as the 7 Series is that it is a reliable powertrain that can be used on a daily basis so that the driver does not need to stress about reliability and long-term longevity concerns as well. Now, in the application of the pre-facelift 740i, this 2016 model, for example, the engine is producing 320 horsepower and 335 pound-feet of torque. That is good enough to get this car from 0 to 60 in approximately 4.8 seconds. But that's not the whole story with the 740i. Where this car really shines is with its overall chassis development and luxury features, including some of the amazing NVH isolation that this car has and a lot of the interior amenities and comfort features that allow for a very relaxed, peaceful, and luxurious driving experience. For example, this car has 22-way power adjustable seats with both heated and cooled functions. It also features a wonderful Harman Kardon audio system that produces an incredible sound in both the mid and low ranges as well as with its bass frequencies. It features a very opulent dark wood trim in this particular application with these alloy touch points for the window controls, for the HVAC controls. This particular car was equipped with the executive package, so that adds the cooled seat function to the car. It also adds the Napa leather dashboard, and on the tops of the door cards, the car also features Napa leather. We also get power rear sunshades for the windows, the rear quarter windows, and the rear windshield as well. Now, what I personally love about a car like the 7 Series is that you can tell that the attention to detail from both an engineering and a design standpoint was second to none. This car was built to prioritize the comfort and well-being, as mentioned previously, of all the occupants in the vehicle, and it really shows not only from the rear passengers, where you can practically stretch your legs out entirely, you can block the sun out and have a opulent sense of privacy with those rear sunshades, and the amount of light that this interior cabin allows, the amount of spaciousness that it has, and then all the materials that have been applied to all the different touch points and non-touch points as well, really just adds such a lovely feel to this car. And while it might not be the most lavishly designed interior, such as a Mercedes-Benz S-Class, it definitely prioritizes a degree of functionality and driver involvement that I can appreciate over some of the other German counterparts. Now, the G12 chassis in particular marked the beginning of the G series of BMWs, starting off in around 2015 when this car in particular was released for the 2016 model year. And BMW developed something known as the carbon core chassis, which was originally produced with the i8 and then ended up carrying over into the 7 as well. Now, what this employs is a series of lightweight materials that are integrated into the body structure and chassis of this car, not only for reducing the overall curb weight, but also increasing the rigidity and stiffness of the chassis. So in the top portion of this car, the A, B, and C pillars, as well as the roof bows and the roof rails, they're all constructed of CFRP, or a carbon fiber reinforced polymer. Much of the car, including the wheel hubs, a lot of the suspension components, and a lot of the extruded elements of the chassis are also developed with aluminum to reduce the curb weight. And then of course you have high strength steel where it matters for a lot of the safety and crash points of the vehicle to protect the occupants and prioritize overall driver safety. The hood, all 4 doors, as well as the trunk are also designed with aluminum. And what this allows for is an overall curb weight reduction of around 285 pounds compared to the previous F Series or F01 740i equivalent in the vehicle's curb weight. Now, this can be felt in a number of ways. Not only is the performance of the vehicle better due to the B58 engine and a superior transmission implemented into this car, but the reduction in curb weight allows for faster acceleration, it allows for better handling, and with that being said, it also allows for reduced NVH. Now, today I'm fortunate enough to be able to take this car on the Pacific Coast Highway out here in Newport Beach, which is a lovely stretch of road to sort of test the vehicle's, road handling dynamics and capabilities. And let me tell you guys that this car feels absolutely incredible to drive from a luxury standpoint. Keep in mind, this is not a sports car by any means. However, for a vehicle that employs a 4,200 pound curb weight, it handles surprisingly well. And a large part of that is due to the chassis construction with that carbon core technology, but also due to the overall suspension design, which incorporates double wishbones at the front and an aluminum multi-link at the rear. In addition to that, the car also rides on air suspension. So there are airbag technology at all 4 corners of the car, which has been around in a number of 7 Series over the past few decades. But what this allows for is a level of plushness with the suspension that makes the car feel incredibly soft, and the car just sort of floats and wafts over different bumps and undulations in the road surface. It feels so incredibly isolated. It reduces the overall road noise on the car. And this particular example of 740 is riding on the base 18-inch wheels with a relatively beefy 245 by 70 by 18 tire size, which obviously definitely helps to isolate a lot of the road noises and a lot of the imperfections, soak up a lot of bumps, potholes, things of that nature. While it may not look the best from an aesthetic standpoint, it definitely helps with the overall ride comfort and ride quality of the car. Now, the shocks in this car use BMW's infamous EDC damper technology, which can electronically adjust the quality and the firmness of the dampers within milliseconds based on a number of driver inputs, and then of course what the car is being communicated to from the road surface. And there are 3 different driving modes that this car offers. Well, technically 4. We have Comfort Plus, Comfort, Eco Pro, Sport, Sport Individual, and then Adaptive. So I guess that actually makes 5. Now, the adaptive mode is nice because depending on how you are driving the vehicle, the car will automatically detect and tell what kind of driving mode it should be in. Typically though, I like to keep this car in Comfort Plus. It keeps the dampers on the softest setting, it keeps the steering feel nice and light, and it adjusts the shift points of the ZF8 transmission to be as smooth as possible, and they are nearly imperceptible in the case of this car. What I can also appreciate is the thicker acoustic insulated glass that is incorporated into this 7 Series as well. It helps so much to reduce outside noises, outside frequencies that are unwanted into the cabin of the vehicle. It's kind of hard not to want to fall asleep when you're sitting behind the wheel of this car and driving it. Now, from a driver engagement standpoint, maybe that's not the best thing, but this 7 Series clearly prioritizes luxury. It's a competitor to Audi's A8, it's a competitor to the Mercedes-Benz S-Class, and really we want this to be a car that can cover ground in an incredibly comfortable and luxurious manner. Now this B58 engine pulls very hard, considering this is the base model of 7 Series, and it only has on paper 320 horsepower and 335 pound-feet of torque. It pulls plenty hard, and I never feel like I need to upgrade into the twin-turbo V8 of the 750i. This has plenty of torque. It gets fairly decent fuel efficiency. Right now, with mostly sitting driving and a little bit of freeway, I'm averaging around 21.5 miles per gallon, which is honestly not bad for a 3-liter straight six. That's hucking around a 4,200 pound curb weight car. And if we put this car over in a sport mode, flick the gear selector to the left, that ZF8 transmission quickly drops gears. You have these steering wheel mounted paddle shifters, which feel quite nice, and you get some very quick response with the gear changes of the car. 5th gear, 4th gear, very little delay, if any, with the paddle shifters, which for a 7 Series, a car that does not really seem to prioritize sport driving in any manner, decently impressive shift times. The EDC suspension also does a great job of adapting itself to the different driving modes. So right now, given that this car is in sport mode, it feels noticeably firmer than when it's in Comfort Plus. There's less body roll, the imperfections in the road surface are felt more, and overall the car has a much more athletic feel to it, and it feels like it's much more eager to want to throw itself into a corner than when the car is in Comfort Plus. I just threw it back into Comfort Plus. We're flicking the gear selector back to the right, and we're just gonna let the transmission do its thing, because truly that's really where this car shines. And from a daily driver standpoint, it's so easy and relaxing to cover hundreds of miles in this car. Now, to wrap up my thoughts on this vehicle and kind of bring me back to my original thesis at the beginning of the review, this car has largely depreciated. This particular example was picked up by the owner for around $19,500 with a clean title with 79,000 miles, and it currently has around 83,500 miles on the odometer. The B58 engine is known to be quite reliable if maintained well, and these cars can run well past 150,000, if not 200,000 miles on the odometer. Now, what I see here is an exceptional value for the money. If you are looking for a land yacht that is going to be reliable, that is going to have fantastic build quality, and that is seemingly going to stand the test of time, this particular example is nearing 10 years of age, and it was very well taken care of by the previous owner and still feels very much new in a lot of ways. So with all that being said, I hope this review was informative. I hope you found it enjoyable to watch. If you did, please make sure to give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you are new here. Thank you so much for tuning in as always, and I will catch you all in the next one.